At Daikin Construction, safety is our #1 priority. Whether this is your first day on the job or your 10th year, it is important to remember even the most basic OSHA standards. In this video, we will highlight the key areas you all should know on your job sites.
If you work with concrete, the personal protective equipment is as follows. You must always wear a hard hat, safety glasses, latex or rubber gloves, and a high-vis shirt or vest. Also, all concrete workers must wear rubber boots. If you use a vibrator, you must always wear a face shield and ear protection as well.
Any employee working on a confined space will need additional training. A confined space is large enough for a person to enter, difficult to exit in the event of an emergency. Confined spaces are not intended for regular human occupancy. A permit-required confined space means a confined space that has one or more of the following characteristics. And confined spaces contain or has the potential to contain a hazardous atmosphere, contains a material that has the potential for engulfing an entrant, has an internal configuration such that an entrant could be trapped or asphyxiated by inwardly converging walls or by a floor which slopes downward, tapers to a smaller cross-section, or contains any other recognized serious safety or health hazard. Treat all confined spaces as hazardous. Do not enter a confined space without someone monitoring you. Do not enter a confined space until the air has been tested for oxygen, flammable vapors, and toxic chemicals. Exit the space immediately if an unsafe condition develops.
Electric tools and extension cords must be inspected before every use. Damaged and defective tools or cords marked with red tags and be taken out of service. Do not use an angle grinder without a guard. And do not use electric cords that do not have ground pins missing or damaged insulation. OSHA requires the use of GFCIs on all construction sites, and do not daisy chain your extension cords.
Cave-ins are a major cause of death in the construction industry each year. Any Daikin construction employee working on excavations must be properly trained. Before you start digging, have the underground utilities been located? Are there any overhead hazards like power lines, etc.? Will there be any heavy equipment operating in the near proximity of the excavation? Has there been a soil analysis done? Here are the steps to provide a safe excavating operation. Always shore or cut back the opening adequately. Any opening with a depth of 5 feet or more requires shoring, shielding, or to be cut back or sloped. Never store excavated or other materials closer than 2 feet from the edge of the excavation. Inspect the excavation daily. This must be done by a competent person. Access ladders must be provided every 25 feet in excavations of 4 feet or more in depth.
Falls are the leading cause of fatalities in the construction industry. Each employee on a walking working surface, horizontal and vertical surface, with an unprotected side edge or hole, which is 6 feet or more above or lower level, shall be protected from falling by the use of a guardrail system or personal fall arrest system. The components of a fall arrest system are a harness, a lanyard, and an anchor point. Components of a fall arrest system must be inspected before each use. Look for deficiencies including corrosion, deformation, sharp edges, cracking, rust, or broken stitches. An anchorage for a personal fall arrest system shall be capable of supporting 5,000 pounds of dead weight for each worker tied off to it. A fall restraint system is required when using a man lift. Guardrail systems must have a top rail, a mid rail, and a toe board. A floor hole wider than 2 inches must be protected by a cover or guardrails. Covers must be able to support 2 times the expected load and must be anchored to the floor and marked with the word hole. Ensure that the chest strap is above the nipples. Your leg straps should fit at least 2 fingers between your legs and the strap. And on your back, the dorsal D-ring, ensure that it's between the 2 shoulder blades. We are required to have a 10-pound ABC fire extinguisher within 50 feet of any flammables or combustibles. Remember the acronym PASS when using a fire extinguisher. P is for pull the pin out. A is for aim at the base of the fire. S is for squeeze the trigger. S is for sweep from side to side.
Ladders must be inspected before using them. Look for structural damage, bent, or broken rungs. Make sure labels are legible, specifically the duty rating or capacity. For instance, this ladder is rated for 300 pounds. It's a 6-foot ladder. Damaged or broken ladders must be taken out of service, marked and/or tagged as defective. They should be promptly destroyed. When accessing another level, the ladder must be extended 3 feet above the landing to provide a handhold for getting on and off the ladder. Extension ladders should be used at a 4-to-1 ratio or a 75-degree angle. Face the ladder when ascending or descending. Maintain 3 points of contact at all times. Keep your body centered on the ladder. Extension ladders should not be separated to create 2 ladders. Keep the areas around the tops and bottoms of all ladders clear to prevent trip and fall hazards. Do not use metal or aluminum ladders near exposed energized electrical equipment. Step ladders used only in the full open position on firm, level ground. Do not use a step ladder that is folded or in a leaning position. Never sit or stand on the top 2 rungs.
At Digan Construction, we have specific PPE requirements: hard hat, safety glasses, habits, shirt or vest, steel boots, and gloves. If you work with tools or equipment that produce noise about 85 dB, you will be using earplugs. If you're using a handheld saw for cutting rebars, a face shield must be worn.
Scaffold. Scaffold 10 feet or higher must have some means of fall protection. Guardrail or personal fire arrest system, PFAS. Top rail installed between 38 inches and 45 inches high. Mid rail installed halfway between top rail and platform. Requirements are: erect and dismantle all the scaffold according to manufacturer's instruction and competent person direction. Must support 4 times the intended load. Must have stable footings, base plates, screw jacks, mud seals. Each platform on all working levels must be fully planked between front upright and guardrail support. Front edge of scaffold within 14 inches of face of works. The scaffold plank must be between 6 inches past support, no more than 12 inches. The scaffold must be fully braced. Competent person is required. Employees working on or around the scaffold must be trained. Don't climb cross braces. Place ladder securely.
Crystalline silica is a common mineral that is found in construction materials such as sand, stone, concrete, brick, and mortar. When workers cut, grind, drill, or crush materials that contain crystalline silica, very small dust particles are created. These tiny particles, known as respirable particles, can travel deep into workers' lungs and cause silicosis, an incurable and sometimes deadly lung disease. Respirable crystalline silica also causes lung cancer, other potentially debilitating respiratory diseases such as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and kidney disease. In most cases, these diseases occur after years of exposure to respirable crystalline silica. Use vacuums or water to eliminate silica dust. If that is not to eliminate the dust, use a respirator. Use a vacuum to remove any dust from your clothes. Do not bring silica dust to your home. Talk to your supervisor before using a respirator.
Safety is our number one priority. There is no job or task more important than your well-being. If you are ever in a situation that makes you feel uneasy, stop what you're doing. Talk to your supervisor. Maybe we need to spend more time training. Maybe there's a safer way to do the job. We each must take responsibility for our own safety. We must show up every day, fit to work. We must be aware of our changing surroundings and environments, have common sense, and say something when we see a team member taking an unnecessary risk. We must be proactive and find ways to mitigate or eliminate the hazards on our job sites. Do not expect someone else to keep you safe. Only you can keep you safe.